What's up, guys? Medic Prepper 601 here, back with another video. In today's video, we are going to deal with some topics about the assault weapons ban that they're trying to pass. Basically, it's a logic that I just don't understand their argument behind what they're trying to do. The stuff that they're coming up with makes absolutely no sense to me. They go through the things about you don't need an AR style semi-automatic rifle to hunt. You don't need 30-round magazines, and anything that they can do to save at least one life, just one life, they should do. And every effort should be made to save that one life. And I'm going to go through each one of those step by step and give you my thoughts on each one of those, and basically give a little bit of a rebuttal to why I think that each one of those is bullshit. So hang tight with me, guys. We'll go through that here in just a minute. Alright, guys, here we go. I'm gonna start by working on one of the topics they throw out there quite a bit while they're trying to push this new legislation, talking about, well, you don't need a semi-automatic AR style rifle to hunt with. And who's to say that you don't? I would be willing to bet that the majority of these people that are up there preaching to the choir about all this are probably not avid hunters. And, in the sake of full disclosure, neither am I really. I don't hunt. I do watch quite a bit of hunting shows on the Outdoor Channel, and I have seen multiple times in multiple episodes people do hunt with semi-automatic AR-style rifles. They hunt deer with them, they hunt boar with them, they hunt coyotes with them, in various calibers, whether it be .223, 5.56, 308, 300 blackout. People hunt with those rifles all the time. And then who are they to tell me that if that's what I choose to hunt with, that I can't? They don't have that right. They work for us. It's not the other way around. They don't have the right to tell me that if I want to hunt with an AR-style rifle that I can. But they're kind of missing the point there. They use that argument to get the leftist people to kind of try to understand where they're coming from, because it's an easy argument for them to make. But to me, it's not about hunting. It's about self-defense. In a self-defense situation, I want the most effective, complete, accurate, and intimidating weapon system that I can get my hands on at that time. I don't want to be screwing around in a situation where I have to defend my life inside my home. And they seem to miss that point. They use the hunting argument just kind of to bypass that whole situation. They leave the self-defense aspect out of it. But, that's what it is. It is the most effective weapon system that civilians can get their hands on to defend our lives with. And who are they to tell me that I don't have the right to defend myself with that weapon? And, your goal in a defensive situation is to meet that person's violence with more force. That's how you're going to win that situation. The majority of home invasions, people are armed when they come inside your home. You have multiple, assailants coming inside your home, and they are armed in one way or another. Now, it may not be a firearm. It may be a knife. It may be a crowbar. It may be various other style of weapons. But, 9 out of 10 times, the way that you're going to overcome that is to overpower them or to use more force. And the way I want to use more force is by using a better weapon system than what they have. For one, it's going to let them know right off the bat, hey, I picked the wrong house to come into. And two, it gives me more confidence that I know that I have at least what they have, probably better. That means that inside my home, I have the advantage. I know that I have the most powerful available weapon system to myself, and that they have to at least match that to try to overtake me. And, that makes me feel better. So the fact that they're up there using the hunting argument, to me, is way off base. And, it makes no sense to me. It's just something that they're trying to use to bypass that whole self-defense aspect of it. But to me, it automatically is about self-defense and using the most effective weapon system that you can have. If there was something out there better, or that I felt was better, because it is a personal choice, you guys may feel something different, but to me, I want my AR. And if there was something out there that was better, I would want that. It really is that simple. So, you know, I just don't get where they think they can get off by telling us what we can have and what we can't, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, the second thing that they're throwing out there as well, you don't need 30 rounds to hunt with, or you don't need 30 rounds to defend your life with. Well, let me ask you this question. What is the magic number of rounds that you need in a defensive situation? Take a second, think about it. What is the magic number that you need? You come up with one? Because I've sat here and thought about it, and I can't come up with one, and that's probably for a pretty good reason. Every defensive situation is going to be different. If you are concealed carrying and you are out on the street and you are faced with one assailant, you may only need 7 rounds to use more force in that situation to gain control. If you are inside your home and you are faced with multiple assailants, which is the majority of the time, home invasions typically occur with 3 or more assailants trying to come into your home and overtake you. 7 to 10 rounds is not going to be enough. You know, regardless of what round you're using, you know, people have this image in their head, well, if you shoot somebody one time, they're automatically going to stop what they're doing, and that sadly is not the case. Unless your shots are extremely accurate and hit the exact point that is required to end that person's life immediately, you know, people can get shot multiple times and continue to function at a very high level. Especially people that are hopped up on various drugs. You know, they have a very, very high pain threshold. Their adrenaline's going, you know. 7 to 10 rounds isn't going to be enough. So you need to have that availability to you to fire multiple rounds over and over and over again to get it clear to that person, like, you can keep coming, but I'm going to keep firing. And at some point, that's going to click inside their head and saying, well, all right, it might be time to back off. And the perfect example of that is the lady in Georgia who was protecting her children in that crawl space that you've heard a little bit about, I'm sure. And, you know, she had the 6 rounds. And luckily enough, 6 rounds was enough for that guy to go, okay, it's time for me to stop. But even at that point, he was still well enough to be able to make it out of that house and get in his car and drive away. The police found him inside his car leaving the scene. So, you know, at that point, that should be enough to throw up a red flag to most people and say, well, maybe that isn't enough. You know, I want as many rounds as I can possibly get my hands on to protect my family's life with. And until they can tell me that if I put 3 rounds into that person, they're automatically going to stop, it's going to stay that way. And the problem with that is they're never going to be able to. There is no magic number of bullets that are going to get a situation to stop. The only way that's going to get a situation to stop is if you overpower the person trying to hurt you. The way to do that is with the most firepower you can get your hands on. The best rifle, the most rounds. The third part of their argument here is anything that we can do to save one life. If there's anything we can do and it saves just one life, we should at least try to do it. You know, we're losing these kids, all these kids, you know. I'll be the first to admit, what happened in Connecticut was a horrible situation. You know, nobody ever wants to see that happen. You know, those poor kids and their parents, it was god-awful. You know, I have small children that are in school, and it tore my heart up to know that my son came home that day and had heard about what happened. You know, he's about that age. He's 8 right now. He was 8 at the time. He just turned 8. So, you know, it hit very close to home for me. But at the same time, they're using that argument basically as another cover. And I've got numbers here. All of these numbers are from the CDC, and they're from 2010 because that's the most complete set of data that they have at this point. And I'm going to start off by leading with this. I went to Senator Dianne Feinstein's page, and I read the entire bill titled Assault Weapons Ban 2013. Okay? Then I also read her summary page, which I guess is probably what she uses to read to the media or whatever else. And her number one argument for proposing this new assault weapons ban, and it's on her page, if you go look at it and you look up the summary of assault weapons ban 2013, you can read it for yourself. And I quote, "Assault weapons bans work. Since the 1994 ban expired in 2004, 350 people have died at the hands of assault weapons." So I want to break this down to make it really clear for you guys, okay? The assault weapons ban expired in 2004, okay? Now I'm assuming that she's using stats all the way up through 2012. So you take 8 years, 350 people. That is 43 people per year killed by assault weapons. Now, that number is not broke down into defensive shootings that happen inside people's homes. I don't know if those numbers include people that were killed at the hands of law enforcement using AR-style weapons. You know, they don't break down those numbers in that. It just is a flat 350 people in 8 years killed by assault weapons. 43 per year. So, I'm going to break down some other numbers of people, or of ways that people die per year. Okay? So, the leading causes of death in 2010 from the Centers of Disease Control. Heart disease was number one. Okay? 597,689 people died. Okay? Almost 600,000 people died from heart disease. Cancer was number two, and it was 574,743. Again, close to 600,000 people died from cancer. Now the numbers dropped significantly from those, but number three was stroke. Almost 130,000 people died from stroke in 2010. Unintentional accidents was number four. Now unintentional accidents can be various things. It can be car accidents, it can be falls, it can be drownings, it can be various other things. And I'm assuming probably firearms deaths are included in there somewhere. But the total number of unintentional deaths, or unintentional accident deaths in 2010 was 120,000 people. 120,859. After that, Alzheimer's disease, 83,000. Diabetes was 69,000. The flu is in the top 10 leading causes of death in 2010. 50,000 people died from the flu in 2010. Okay, 50,000. And then right below that was suicide. 38,364. Okay, so suicidal people, 38,364. Okay, so I want you to keep that number in mind. So the argument that's put in place is here, well, if people are going to kill people, the most effective way for them to do that is to use a firearm. They're so easy to get. They're going to use a firearm. That's the quickest and easiest way to hurt people. So let's do this. I took another stat. Okay, number of deaths by firearms in 2010. That number was 11,078. Now that's just death by firearms. That doesn't differentiate between whether it was homicide or suicide. Total number of deaths by firearms was 11,000. So there are 38,000 people killing themselves. Okay, so even if you say that 11,000 people committed suicide with firearms, that's 1/3. So why is it that people are killing themselves twice, or two-thirds of the time with means other than firearms? And that's worst case scenario. That total number of firearms death, I'm sure, includes quite a bit of homicide in there. It's not all suicide. So, these people are using other means to kill themselves and kill other people. The total number of homicides that happened in 2010 was 16,259. Of those, 11,000 were by firearms. So, they throw this out there that firearms are the problem, and it's not the case. And I want to give you one more number. So we say that 43 people died per year by the hands of assault weapons, and I hate that term assault weapons because it's a made-up term. You look up the dictionary, there is no assault weapons. The assault weapon term is made up by the government, by whatever they define an assault weapon as. 43 people died by semi-automatic style rifles, AR platformed. Okay, if you take that and divide that by 11,000 people that were killed by firearms, that accounts to 0.0038%. 0.004 of a percent of people killed by firearms are killed by semi-automatic style AR rifles. So they're not putting these numbers out there, guys. They're going to try to push and push and push, and 350 people, oh, that's horrible. Well, that is such a low number. You know, all they're doing is using this tragedy that happened in Connecticut as a platform to stand on and preach from a mountaintop about we have to do something about guns in this country. You know, I'll be the first to admit, people are killed by guns every day in this country. But if you look at it, it's the places where guns are controlled the most. Chicago, Washington, California. And it's in poor neighborhoods, you know, with rampant drug activity, and multiple other aspects go into this. It isn't just about guns. There's no one piece of legislation they're going to put out that is going to solve this problem. And until they understand that, they're going to keep trying to come back to this because it's an easy argument for them, and it's going to appease people in the meantime. It's something that they can do that it looks like they're doing something to the people that voted for them. Oh, well, they're trying. Well, they're trying. And what they're failing to realize is in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to make a single bit of difference. People are going to hurt people. People are going to kill people. It doesn't matter. Until they realize that you can't legislate morality, you can't tell people that they have to be good and they're going to listen, we're not going to get anywhere. You know, there are so many aspects that go into this whole debate that it's you know, it really can get your mind in a bind. But you can't legislate morality, guys. It really is that simple. People are good or people are bad, and it really is that simple. You know, I own multiple firearms. A lot of my friends own firearms. You know, my 7-year-old son has shot, or my 8-year-old son has shot multiple firearms as young as 7 years old. You know, just because you grew up around firearms doesn't mean you're going to turn into a bad person. You know, it's about the way you're raised, it's about your environment, and it's about what's in here and up here that makes the difference. And until they figure that out, we're not going to get anywhere. So I hope this gave a little insight to you guys, breaking down the numbers a little bit. And what I want to accomplish with this video is just to get you guys thinking and to get you guys talking. You know, we have an obligation as responsible gun owners to engage in intelligent conversations with people and try to inform them about our position on any possible legislative issues. And we don't do it by grandstanding or by yelling or by screaming, but we do it by presenting facts and doing our best to make them understand, look, the majority of us are good people with good intentions. And, you know, firearms are just a tool. No different than a hammer, no different than a nail, a drill, or anything else that you use. And in the hands of a responsible citizen who is a law-abiding citizen, they don't hurt anyone. But when you put them in the hands of criminals who have evil intentions or evil people or mentally deranged people, bad things can happen. And that's the problem, you know. So, you know, engage in debates with people. Talk to your friends. Talk to people that aren't your friends. You know, engage in this debate with other people and try to inform them and make them understand that, you know, this right here, and it is safe, guys, not loaded. This right here is just a tool. And right now, because it is unloaded and it's safe, it's nothing more than a paperweight. Okay? It's a big chunk of steel that I could throw at somebody. Even with these in it right here. In my hands, it's no different. It's not going to hurt anybody because I don't have the intentions to hurt anybody unless they come to hurt me. And that's what we have to get people to understand. Talk to them, educate them, make them understand. Okay? It's the best thing that we can do. I hope this shed a little bit of light on this subject for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, comment, like, subscribe, share the video. We need to do everything we can. Don't forget to contact your state reps and let them know how you feel about this issue. I'll see you guys in the next video.